All right, so good evening, everyone. My name is Sunny Sumal, and I'm part of the management team on Flow Inc., and we'll be presenting Project Windtreads. So Flow Inc. is an innovative company dedicated to building products around health and lifestyle for devoted athletes. Our management team consists of expertise ranging from finance, international business, entrepreneurship, and engineering. We have an advisory board made up of multidisciplinary professionals ranging from engineering, entrepreneurs, and accountants. So imagine you're running in the rain where you're all soaked and your shoes are wet and squishy. Imagine how hot your feet feel after a long run. So during long periods of running, runners find that their shoes present issues such as breathability, heat trapped inside, creating discomfort and possibly odors, and lastly the issues of your shoes becoming wet and squishy. Currently, no product on the market addresses these issues effectively. So Flow introduces Windtreads, a running shoe design focusing on the transfer of air between the sole of your shoe. Several moisture-absorbing pads are placed in the inner sole where the foot touches, which will absorb heat and sweat. The product is also designed with an air tunnel and vents, which as your foot hits the ground will discharge the heat and sweat that your feet produces. Further, the shoe contains a membrane which restricts water from entering the shoe, but allows air to circulate in and out, so that the shoe is both breathable and waterproof. So you may be wondering, the product sounds great, but the athletic footwear market has a few key players that what will make our venture successful. Well, not only have we taken that into consideration, about the top 3 competitors in the footwear market comprise 70% of the market share, and we also acknowledge that it will be too costly for us to manufacture this shoe on our own. So our business model is to patent and license our design to Nike via an experienced sales representative. So where are we with respects to development? Currently, we have several design iterations. We've completed market research, surveys, and a business plan. Our proprietary position is our patent technology, which we're in the process of applying for. Our final prototype will be ready to approach Nike in the summer of 2009, and we're moving into the testing phase. Our direction for future plans is to invest more in R&D and expand our Windtread technology to address dress shoes, breathability in dress shoes, and sports apparel. So as we are licensing and not selling our product directly to our market, our target customer is Nike, who, since they hold the biggest share in North America with 41% of the footwear market. We're targeting one company since we acknowledge that any company would prefer a competitive advantage over their competition. Last year in the US, 38 million people ran for exercise, and the top selling athletic shoe category was running shoes, with $3.2 billion in sales. All of this proves there's a market for Windtreads, and our shoe itself is directed at the dedicated or avid runner. Our direct competition are other companies that license footwear technologies, which to date we aren't able to locate. Since we're targeting Nike, our indirect competition will be Nike's direct competition, such as the companies displayed on the screen. I should note that if Nike declines our licensing offer, then Nike's competitors will become our buyer market or our target customer. There are 5 stages to our implementation plan. In phase 1, we planned our new venture strategy. In phase 2, from January to May, a development of our prototype is key. In phase 3, April to December of 2009, we'll continue to revamp our prototype based on the market testing provided. In phase 4, which lasts 3 years, our focus will be operations, growth, and sustainability, since we should have acquired Nike as a customer at this point. And in phase 5, we should exit the market. We've estimated Project Windtreads to cost approximately $399,000. These costs are for patenting, licensing, market testing, and prototypes. Currently, $100,000 has been invested by management and Love Money, and we have applied for $44,000 in government funding via SR&ED, which returns about 41.5% of our research and development costs. So we're seeking an investment of approximately $255,000. We acknowledge that the economy is going through a global economic crisis, and to reduce the risk, we'll be offering 10% annual simple interest returns, payments over years 2 to 5, as well as provide a 5 times initial investment of once we exit the market. So financial analysis, we anticipate to receive an initial licensing revenue of $735,000 and an 8% royalty fee based on an assumed selling price of $150 per pair of wind treads. We've assumed that the number of wind treads sold by Nike will increase by 6% because the number of runners is increasing each year. The upward trending red line represents revenues from royalties, and the blue dot in the 2010 section represents initial licensing revenues as well as the royalty revenues. In year one, we experienced a loss of $290,000 since we're still in the development phase, but in year two, we expect to obtain Nike as our customer and recoup any expenses and break even. If Nike were to decline our offer, our plan A would be to approach their competition, with Adidas being next in line. And if our licensing model was to fail, our plan B would be to produce wind treads on our own by outsourcing to China. And if regulatory restrictions would not make this possible, then we would produce in Canada. Finally, we found that it would not be feasible to approach Nike with the intent of receiving royalties for 20 years, since they could just invest in R&D and create the product on their own. So we developed an exit strategy where we plan on exiting the market in year 5, when our licensing agreement with Nike would end, and we would sell, the patent actually would have another 15 years remaining, so we would sell the rights to the patent to Nike for about $250,000. Which concludes our presentation.